Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Hollywood After Dark episode number 40. Today, of course, is the 1st of August, 2021. We're coming in now to the back couple months of the year. Lots going on. Movie theaters are back. Hopefully, Matt Damon potentially canceled. Jungle Cruise did some money. And apparently, Seth MacFarlane is thinking about moving on from Fox Broadcasting. All that and more here tonight, Hollywood After Dark. Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? Welcome to the show. It is supposed to be my night off, Annie. I'm telling you, I was not even supposed to be here today.
Okay,
that was my plan.
There's a lot to talk about, man.
There's a lot to talk about. Yeah, there's a lot going on, and that, of course, is the reason why we're here. I was sitting there tonight. I'm going like, man, all right, I'm just gonna hang out, put my kids to bed, play a little Skyrim, maybe watch a movie, kind of relax a little bit. People all day were messaging me like, "Hey, Matt, are you gonna go live tonight? Can't wait for the show tonight." And I'm just like, "Yeah, it's Sunday. Sunday. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I want a night. I wanted to do last night because I wanted to round out the calendar month. Now we're into a new month here, so it's pretty cool. Real quick, before we do dive in, I just want to make sure I have the updated channel member list here. With McLeod 2692 is the last one to join up. Unfortunately, before my spelling errors totally screwed that up down there, and then I totally forgot to fix it, but now it's been fixed, and we're going to yeet the other image to the netherworld of the internet. Of course, channel members do keep the channel afloat, as well as the patrons, patreon.com/Matt Jarbo, great way to help out. And of course, the big giveaway for last month was the Indiana Jones Life magazine. I know you're thinking, Annie, magazine? Who the fuck reads magazines? Well, people read magazines. And this is a cool one, and I wanted to announce that Elmo is the winner for the month of July. Thank you very much for that, Elmo. I know HBarts is the person to talk to on that one, because he can reach out to Elmo and definitely let him know that he has won the coveted prize. And I'm thinking, I'm trying to think of like what to give away, because I do want to give like tangible things back to the audience. I want to give tangible things back to people, not just like, hey, here's this like $2 DVD that I found in the bottom of a bin at Walmart. Have you ever heard of the movie?
Yeah.
Right. No, not that that's a bad thing. I think it's always got to be a bit of a personal touch, but I feel like, people have been really supportive, and I want to do something that's, maybe not like going to break my bank, but it's something that's relatively new. So I'm trying to think that maybe, because today, for example, is the 35th anniversary of Howard the Duck.
Oh, wow.
Have you ever seen Howard the Duck?
Yes, I have.
Good. I would have booted you if you said no. Okay.
Oh, my God.
No, but Howard the Duck just hit 35 years. They just released the 4K version of it. Apparently, it's a really good 4K version. And so I'm going to be giving away a 4K version of Howard the Duck at the end of this month to a person who wants to be a channel member, patron, or just kick down through Super Chat. That I figure, it's got Blu-ray, it's got digital, it's got 4K. It's the first Marvel movie. It is a fine film. Everyone who I know loves it. And it's one that it's a classic, and I thought, some lucky person out there who's maybe never seen it or never experienced Leah Thompson in high definition like that, maybe might be interested.
There's
so that's
breast in that movie too, by the way.
Well, that's the thing is I had a tweet from Discussing Film that I was going to bring on, and that one had the boobies, and I thought, what I don't want to get in trouble. So I'm just not going to show the boobies. So there's that. That is definitely something that's happening there. I just didn't want to show the boobies. HBart's here, $2 asking, who won the magazine? Elmo won the magazine, HBart. So please reach out to him. Oh, no, there he is. Real, man. You won. Hey. You won the magazine. That's great. Thank you so much. Just hit me up, DM, and let me know your address, and I'll be shipping that out. And let's see here. HBart says, I bought Matt out years ago. That's not entirely true, HBart. She bought me out months ago, sir. Not years, okay. Months. All right. I'm going to sit there and say it. But no. That, of course, is just the I wanted to make sure we had a good giveaway. That's all good. Also tonight, we did get kind of like last night where we got the first look, or the other night we got the first look at Red Notice. They showed it on TV. There's another Netflix movie that actually ended up getting a little bit of a teaser tonight, and it's called Don't Look Up. It's Adam McKay's new one starring Leo DiCaprio. And but real quick before I play that, let me just quickly point this out here. One thing I want to try is I'm trying to get people who listen after the fact, who may want to call in, may not be able to listen live. So you got the voicemail number, 323-305-4101. That's 323-305-4101. You guys can call into that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and get in your comments, get in your thoughts. And I think even a few tonight, if you guys want to call in tonight before the end of the show, there's a lot to go through. So I don't know if I'll be able to get any kind of live call-ins, but we can definitely do a couple voicemails, 30-second question. We can answer it and give that a go. So 323-305-4101. I will be bringing that back up. It's also pinned in the comments, or it's pinned in the chat right now. You guys can get in on that one. So I know I'm trying to expand, and I'm trying to be more professional and like open up avenues of communication.
Hey, that's a good idea, and you should be proud of yourself too. Like two full lines of fucking channel members. That's definitely an accomplishment, man. So
I'm hoping for a third by the end of the month. I really am.
Nice, man. Good luck.
But at the end of the day, that's not what it's all about, and I don't need to spend 30 minutes telling you guys all the reasons why you should support me or all the ways you could. There are a multitude of ways to do it. It's all right there. As always, though, I just appreciate you guys listening. If you guys want, slap on that like and call into the voicemail line. It's a great way to get your voice heard, your thoughts, your opinions, because not everybody likes using StreamYard. And I get that. Sometimes it's problematic for certain people. They might try to call in and it doesn't work well with their phone or for whatever reason, and so I get that. This gives people the opportunity to have an extra voice and an extra avenue. And sometimes you get some weird messages, by the way, too. So as I'm sure we will get a couple weird ones, it's all good. But let's take a look here at this is the state of affairs for movies right now, where they show you like 30-second trailers on TV and somebody just has to record them from their phone and then put it on Twitter. So it's a cam copy of a streaming movie teaser trailer. I just kind of feel like we're living in weird times right now.
So wait, why didn't the company just drop this on like social media?
I don't know. I Red Notice, as far as I can tell, still hasn't been uploaded in high definition.
Wow.
I don't know. Netflix, again, they have a very odd marketing arm, but this is called Don't Look Up. I don't know much about it. I haven't watched this yet, so let me just make sure that the sound is up. All right. Let me know if you guys can hear it too. If not, we'll have to fix it. But hopefully, boomers technology is not the problem today.
Sounds good.
Okay.
You are here now. You are here now. You are here now. You are here now. Breathing is stressing me out, dude.
There's a comet headed towards Earth.
This will affect the entire planet. I know, but it's like so stressful. Don't
What? Okay, so that wasn't much, but it gave you a little bit there. According to a very, very, very brief synopsis, two low-level astronomers must go on a giant media tour to warn mankind of an approaching comet that will destroy planet Earth. That's the plot to the movie.
Okay, so like the plot alone sounds interesting, but I don't know if that teaser necessarily sold me on like I don't know. That teaser didn't really like explain the plot in that interesting of a way. It just seemed like a few quick gags. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and I totally get that. But then again, I mean, look, it's written and directed by Adam McKay, so the guy who did Anchorman, Step Brothers, Talladega Nights. He also did Ant-Man 1, Ant-Man 2, the upcoming Ant-Man 3.
Okay.
And I think he directed an episode, I believe, of Mandalorian from this last season. I forget which episode. And then, but this one has got Leo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, two of the biggest stars in Hollywood. And this is a Netflix movie.
Yeah, I saw a lot of really big names attached to this film. So
yeah, I mean, Jonah Hill, Ron Perlman, Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah.
Ariana Grande. I mean, Meryl Streep, Kate Blanchett. I mean, this is a big movie, and apparently Chris Evans is also in it, according to
oh nice
according to this. Matthew Perry's in it, Tyler Perry. I don't know who Tyler Perry is. Tyler Perry sounds familiar. It's not. Yeah, Tyler Perry. That Tyler Perry.
So look, I mean, there's good actors here. The director's done some good shit, but like, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I kind of don't like how like teaser trailers are these days. I think I've expressed to you even before. I don't like the majority of trailers these days are just like 3 lines from the show and then instantly just going right into the fucking title card. It's like, I don't know. A lot of them are too basic. I kind of like honestly, some of the 80s trailers and like 90s trailers that you've shown me on this show before, I kind of like the style that they had. They had at least had some more personality than modern trailers seem to.
The modern trailers, I mean, that was a teaser. That was clearly a teaser that was designed, I mean, entirely designed just to show on some, I don't know, some sporting network thing. Usually that's where those things pop up. It's like, are you watching Sunday Night Football? Do you want to see a trailer for a movie about a gigantic meteor coming to Earth to kill us all, starring Leonardo DiCaprio? Find out after the fourth quarter begins here. ABC fucking new. I don't know, man. It's
Giant Meteor 2020.
Yeah. Well, that still probably would have been a better choice. You know, at least we know where the giant meteor stands on things, right? Yeah. We're not left wondering if they're going to flip flop on topics, right? Giant meteor, destroy all life on Earth as we know it. Okay. Is there anything else? No, that is pretty much his entire platform. And we would prefer it if he would be maybe a little bit less on the Armageddonic side, and perhaps, you know, provide health care for all, but still the alternative, Donald Trump. I just saying, it's like, you know, it's very easy. It's very easy. Giant Meteor 2020 should have won.
Anyway,
tonight is going to get, by the way, a little bit on the political side. And that is with good reason.
Yeah,
that is with good reason. We're going to be talking a little bit here about some politics, especially involving Mr. Matt Damon.
Oh, you saw how angry that made me.
I did catch that earlier, and we'll get to that here in a second. I'm having a bit of browser issue. It's frozen up on me yet again for some reason. StreamYard, the other day, I tweeted out at StreamYard because they want to re-up me for the next year, and I have the professional plan right now.
Yeah,
which is it's like $430 for the year is what I pay, because I get a discount. And that's a lot of money. $430 for the year is a lot of money. Man. And all you really get is like the 1080p upgrade, which I don't even really feel is that necessary given the type of content that I make, because I'm not even on camera. Is fine. 720 is fine. You also get the ability to download individual audio tracks. So if you're doing a podcast, that would allow you to kind of isolate some audio and fix it here and there, which and to be fair, sometimes I've done that on like some of like the other discussions. And I actually like that because I'm able to go in and then, you know, if like there's a dog barking, like let's say, for example, Max is on and his dog barks. That's a frequent thing. Nothing against Max, but that's a frequent thing. I can go in, I could tweak that. My friend RJ has trains going off sometimes in the background. So I can listen for that and then isolate that out. And then it's not going to be in the final product. And I do like that quite a bit. That might be something, but that's still not worth an extra $248 a year for that particular thing. I'm a bit of a perfectionist on that front, 100%. So, I mean, that's the whole issue is like, I would like it, but otherwise I can restream to like 8 different sources. I don't really see the need to restream to 8 different, like where the fuck am I, what YouTube, Periscope, which by the way is dying. They're killing it. Twitch, Facebook, Snapchat. I don't know. You know, you can also customize it too. You can customize. So maybe like D-Live or Odyssey or Trovo or any of those other ones.
It's like you're speaking another language right now, man.
Well, there's one streaming service. I forget what it's called. But it is exclusively for pornography. Like, what I mean by that is it's exclusively for like X-rated content.
Pornhub.
You know, it's not Pornhub. If Pornhub had a live streaming service, they would be raided left and right by the authorities.
Oh my God. Yeah, you're right.
You know, it would be, but this is, I forget what this is called. It starts with a V, I think. And I forget, it's been so long, but the idea there is that it's strictly for like adult, you know, like if you want to have like be nude on camera talking to your audience.
That sounds like a disaster waiting to happen, man. That sounds
apparently it's not popular enough to really kind of find itself in that situation overall. So I totally at this point have forgot the name of that. So, you know, there's what Out of Print here asks, why don't I use Zoom? The features I believe on StreamYard are far better than Zoom. far better. I prefer.
Oh, yeah, Zoom
I
sucks.
prefer Zoom. Or I prefer 4K 100%. So real quick here, H Bart says, just send it to me and I'll give it to Elmo. He does not like giving his address out. All right, DM me your address and I'll get that off in the mail tonight before I go to bed. I will buy that. So cool. Let's see here. Mad Max is always coming in with the help. 45 people watching, only 18 thumbs up. Please make sure to support the show. Damn straight. I appreciate that. Yeah. But as always, do what you got to do, however you want to do it. But let's dive into, I don't want to start with that. Sorry. Let me just fix this here. No, cause it's like, I want to talk about the Matt Damon thing first.
Oh my. Okay.
Well,
gonna get me all riled up, aren't you?
I want to start with you all riled up, Damon. I want to do it. I want to get you all riled up. Because this thing is fascinating, and it's a very interesting story in my opinion, because when you look at Matt Damon here, a lot of people, I feel like recently, in the last week specifically, Matt Damon has been getting attacked quite a bit.
Oh, really? This is the first I've heard of that. What else has been going on?
Well, so not only that, but you had the fact that Stillwater, the movie that he's out there currently promoting, is loosely based on the Amanda Knox situation. Mm-hmm. The American girl who was in Italy on for I think a foreign exchange trip, or she was out there college, right, studying abroad. That's what it is. Her roommate ended up being murdered. She was convicted for that murder twice. And then ultimately they found the right guy who did it. And she is now living, actually she lives not far from me outside of Seattle, as I've come to find out. And she's just kind of living her own life. She's just kind of doing her own thing, but her life will never be the same again. Her life will never not be tied to that event. And so she's been coming.
This is a riveting idea for a film.
Well, originally they wanted to talk about this, but they ultimately ended up moving away from it. So it's loosely based on it. By that is this kind of like in high concept. There are elements that share the same. So instead of being in Italy, this takes place in France. Matt Damon's daughter is she's accused of the murder of her roommate. And then the daughter says she didn't do it, and he moves the dad, who's also a Trump supporter in this one. Like that was one of the character arcs that Matt Damon really, really wanted. So he's a Trump supporter. He moves to France and he starts trying to figure it out. And then of course he gets into kind of like a little bit of detectiving at the end, from my understanding, because Amanda Knox spoiled the end of the movie in her criticisms of it. And so, I don't know, I'll still check it out. But so there's been some complaints about it there. But at the same time, what we have is people coming out now about Matt Damon, because he says here that he stopped using the F slur after his daughter wrote him a treatise. I don't
know what the fuck that word means, but okay.
It's I looked it up. I did look it up here. You know what? Here, I'll Google it just so we can see. Okay, so it stands for a written work detailing formally and systemically with a subject.
So wait, she wrote her dad like a strongly worded essay?
Pretty much. She's all like, "Dad, here's why you don't say the F word." And, and he's like, that's basically about it. So
the article made it out like he eventually stopped saying it, right? Like he doesn't say it anymore. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm collecting here.
Yeah, pretty much. Like he doesn't say, like that was the whole point, is he doesn't say it anymore. And, but the big issue here, really is just that, he's trying to tell an anecdote about how like his daughter helped make him a better person.
Yeah.
And people on Twitter are like, oh, how often does he come out there and does he just drop the F slur on people? And but again, if you listen to what he actually says and you know anything about where he grew up, especially the time of when he grew up, I'm not saying it excuses him, but it gives you an idea,
a perspective,
yeah.
And here's the thing, like when people are trying to better themselves, I do not think that the solution is just to dogpile on them and treat them like they're terrible because they didn't come to this realization sooner. It's like, it takes some people time to evolve, not only who they are as people, but also especially like the language that they use in everyday life. He could have used that word and not had it been in an offensive manner, but still, if he wants to move on from using it, clearly his daughter made an argument in favor of, no longer using the word. And what's wrong with that? Like, he's bettered himself as a person. His daughter helped him become a better person. So I don't see the issue. But of course, mad people on Twitter always want to be mad about something because apparently they just came out of the womb woke. You know what I mean?
Well, You Do Suck here makes an interesting point. He says he didn't know the slur was bad until a few months ago. No, but I think in the context of the situation, the way he's kind of describing it here, He says that I made a joke months ago, and I got this essay from my daughter. She left the table. I said, "Come on, that's a joke." I say it in the movie Stuck on You. She went to her room and wrote a very long, beautiful essay, really, on how that word is dangerous. I said, "I retire the F slur. I understood." Now, a lot of it though is he was also Matt Damon has been known to put his foot in his mouth before.
Yes,
because
yes.
he did say here that he had made a previous comment regarding Harvey Weinstein and the Me Too allegations back in 2017. He said, as a father of 4 daughters, this is the kind of sexual predation that keeps me up at night. And basically, like, he just got a lot of shit for that. And then he also.
Maybe that was a little bit misphrased, but like, who would look at that and think, oh, he meant something terrible by it? Like, clearly he didn't mean anything negative by that. He was just trying to express how he was just as disgusted as anyone else. That's all.
Yeah. And that's, well, and then there was also the whole situation with Project Greenlight when apparently him and Ben Affleck had like talked down to a woman of color about a black character in the movie or something like that. And I forget the exact controversy, but that ended up kind of biting him in the ass, And the thing is, when you look at the article that this whole thing is kind of talking about with Matt Damon, what he's generally referring to is like, where he grew up, which was Boston. He's from Massachusetts. And look, Annie, you're from the same area.
Yes, I am.
You know exactly how racist it is in that city.
Yeah, there's some problems around here.
I mean, like, that's a fair amount of it. Boston is not like traditionally known for, kumbaya and fucking chocolate and shit, right? Like chocolate, s'mores and chocolate milk or hot chocolate. There's a lot there. And then again, look, also, it's like back in the 80s, because Matt Damon is talking about when he was a kid, when he was a young man back in the 80s and early 90s. When I was a kid, because he's like 50, I'm 40 almost. So, he's got 10 years on me, but I still grew up in the 90s. And in the 90s, we said the F slur, we said the R slur, we said the G slur, I guess. Not aimed at people of Asian descent. But I mean, gay. We call people gay. Like, that's gay.
Well, here's the thing. It's like, and I don't like this whole revisionist history. It's like there was a significant period of time where this word was at least not always exclusively used in that context. It's like any number of other words which has been desensitized and put into a different fucking context. I mean, yeah, it has been used in an offensive manner, but it's only really recently over these past couple of years that people have been making arguments about it and talking about it. So do not take a shit on someone just because they haven't been cognitive to like the whole dialogue around it until just now. People change and evolve, and you do not get them to continue to change and evolve by giving them a bunch of pushback and crap whenever they try and like budge a little bit. It's really sad.
Because he's also trying to just tell like an anecdote, like, and go like, my daughter called me out and I listened, sort of thing. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I just find it, because that's the thing, is like, it's been proven that the younger generation are actually, if we're going to use the term woke, they are woke. All things considered, the millennials, those kids, the Gen Zers now, those are the ones that are like really aware of all this sort of stuff, and they are paying attention to all these sort of things. And they're the ones that are like making more progress on that front. Now, I mean, look, as a person that, like, I guess you could call me a Zennial. I'm kind of part Gen X, part Gen Y, part millennial, whatever you want to call it.
Wow.
I'm in that weird, like 78 or 77 to 83 birth range, of like, it kind of puts you in this weird, because like for me growing up, I graduated in 2000. And for me, it was, we were the smoke-free class of 2000. They were trying to put this like, you are the first class of the new millennia. You guys are going to change the world, man. And then here it is 20 years later, 21 years later. And I'm sitting here going like, man, people are pissed off at Matt Damon because he's trying to not say, bundle of sticks anymore. Like, come on. What world are we in? But I will say this. H. Bart's here makes a great point. Talking about, again, with this interview with Matt Damon, it says here, another thing is Matt Damon said he's afraid if people watch movies at home, they will just be on their phones, which is not true, because if a movie is good enough, people will pay attention. And that's not necessarily true. I'm on my phone when I'm at home watching.
Queeby.
Yeah, well, that was different. They wanted you to watch on your phone only. But I get what he's saying there, and it really is a lot of these people now, because if you think about it, Matt Damon has entered boomer territory. He's
getting
absolutely
there, yeah.
in boomer territory. He's like, oh, what do you mean? Like, get off my lawn. I got to go back to the good old days of people going to the theater. And it's like, nah, things have shifted. Things have changed. So there's a lot there that's, going to kind of alter. And I think Damon is, like the rest of us, is always growing, is always trying to, be a better person. He's very vocal about social issues and things like that, but he's not perfect. No one's perfect. And it's like, people will sit there and give me crap anytime something comes up. If I call out something and like, yeah, but you said this, I'm like, yeah, I said that like a decade ago and I don't say that shit.
Opinions change. Yeah. That's
like there's a lot more of it now. It's like, clearly opinions can change. And I this is the problem with things like Twitter. Twitter's a big issue here. Now, Tony here makes a great point and says, George Carlin once said words aren't inherently offensive. The context is what matters.
I agree.
And that's the thing is I do agree with that. And I think context absolutely matters. The problem though, is that oftentimes the context, at least in our modern age, has more to do with like people seeing it on Facebook or seeing it on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Snap, whatever. And they're not able to determine what the intent is or what the context is. And that of course becomes a major problem as we try to navigate this really like tumultuous time. So I really do want to hear what everyone has to say about it. If you guys are in the chat right now, definitely leave your comments. You can call in 323-305-4101, 323-305-4101, and be sure to leave a detailed voice message with your thoughts, because I think that's something I want to hear what a lot of people have to say on that one. So we can move on here to the next story. I'm still trying to figure out like all of this stuff is all just whatever. Anyway, I know I get it's hard to manage like 8 windows at once. So let me quickly go through some super chats here. HBarts here says, I can't wait for Elmo to get the magazine because he does not like Indiana Jones.
What?
So this magazine can maybe change his mind. Do I need to red pill Elmo on Indiana Jones? Do I need to red pill him on that franchise? That is like the greatest adventure movie of all time is Raiders of the Lost Ark. So I don't, that is weird. That's super weird, but that's okay. That's okay. It's kind of from a bygone era, that movie came out before I was even born by a whole year. So I get it. Hopefully he'll enjoy it, and hopefully he will definitely get a kick. And then Command Unit here with 15 shekels. Thank you, man. Says, when Major Grom was proposed to Western Studios for adaptation, they wanted it to be Americanized and tried to move the setting to New York. That sounds about right. Major Grom is a Russian movie based on a graphic novel. The Command Unit has been trying to get me to watch it, and I need to. The trailer looks pretty great. But that's there's a lot there. They're trying to establish it, because this is the problem, is every time there's like a foreign graphic novel or something, they want to move it over to America. They want to Americanize it. But when they do this in the movies, they never fucking film in America. You ever notice that?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like, it's like, we're totally, Gotham is based on like Chicago and shit. All right, well, yeah, let's go shoot the Batman movie in Chicago. Fuck that, Glasgow, Scotland. What was it? Fucking, I think it was like the first Ghost Rider or something like that was like, set in southwestern United States, and they shot it in like Australia.
Yeah, it's funny how often they go to Australia to like do stuff in the United States. It's really weird.
Well, yeah. Well, and the thing is, but the United States is very similar like that as well, especially some of the studios here. Before we jump into the next topic, I'll actually show you guys this. Hold on here if I could find the. Hold on. California film map 1920. I think it's that one. Yeah. Okay. So I will. I'll bring this up here. It's really, really, really cool how this thing. So this is an older map that Paramount used to use, and other studios used to use as well, when trying to figure out where to film around California. So what this is it's you can see here. So California, you get the different places, right? You can look and see here down. So down here at the very bottom, San Diego, right? See there, Spain in North County, San Diego. You go out east and you can recreate the Sahara Desert out in the dunes out there in Imperial County. They have the Red Sea out there past Salton Sea is the lake out there you see right there down there right underneath South Africa. And then right above it, you can recreate Sherwood Forest, England, because there's a whole bunch of mountains out there, because that's out there by Big Bear Mountain and whatnot.
Oh my God.
I'm not kidding you. Like, you got the Holland in parts of near Hollywood. You've got Venice, Italy, south of Los Angeles, right? You can kind of see that there.
Wait a minute, the New England coast? Fuck you, that's in the country, dumbass. Like, why can't they just go to New England? That's part of the same country. I don't get it.
Because the New England coastline, in Northern California, yeah, they can make it look like, because it saves money. It saves money on having to travel all the way across the country. But you can sit there and recreate. Look, they can recreate the Mississippi River. They can recreate New England. They can recreate Alaskan rivers out here on the Nevada, California. Out by, I think this would be by. Oh no, Tahoe's up here. Yeah, this is from the early. This is the Paramount Studio location map from the early 1900s.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I mean, this is how Paramount used to sit there and make movies in California. And utilize all of the vast terrains, all the different geography to make you think you were in a different place. And like, I spent 15 years in Southern California. I've traveled the whole state. Yeah, it's so vastly different depending on where you are that it is just wild, and it's beautiful out there. Like, I love Cali, but now it ain't gonna look like this in the next 20 years. I'll tell you that.
Sad.
But that, of course, is like something that's pretty cool. Let's see here. Daniel Scott here, $5, man. Thank you. Says, I was born in 77. People born 77 to 83 are now being called Zennials, which is called microgeneration. That's right. I first read that as microaggression, which could also be considered accurate. But yeah, we're considered a micro generation, because I was born in 82. So there's that. Really quick here. Bradley asks, did I see the video of Chris Chan being arrested? I did.
Oh my God.
I feel bad because who shot the damn thing, but I saw it. Let's see here. Worldwide Web Wizard is asking, can we get Jamie and react to the buck breaking movie?
Buck breaking movie?
I'm not doing the buck breaking movie. What? All right. I'm not doing.
I'm not asking. It's from Worldwide Web Wizard, so it's probably weird.
Okay, hold on. We'll quickly deviate.
Wait, no.
We'll quickly deviate. I'm not going to show the trailer. All right, I'll just bring up the Amazon page, but I'm not going to show the trailer.
Jesus Christ.
Because this is an actual documentary. This is from, you might recognize one of the names that's attached to this thing, and that, of course, is Tariq Nasheed. If you know anything about Tariq Nasheed.
Yeah, I'm familiar with him.
Yeah, Tariq Nasheed produced this.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. So let's take a very sad and horrible, terrible look at what this whole thing's about.
Did you notice it's Amazon's choice?
Is it?
It's Amazon's choice.
All that means is that they've highly rated, well-priced products available to ship immediately. All that means is that they have a lot of copies of this in a warehouse. That's all it means, effectively. But it's like, why would you buy this?
Amazon.
Why? God damn it, Amazon. Stop it. Stop it. All right. It says here that Buck Breaking is a documentary film about the historic sexual exploitation of black people globally. The film shows a correlation between the historic exploitation of black men during slavery and the Jim Crow era to the buck breaking tactics used today. And it's directed by Tariq Nasheed. What are some of the there's a 23-second video here. Some guy just says, oh, it's a woman. It's a woman. I don't have the sound on for this, but she's pulling out her other covers of the other Tariq Nasheed movies, I think.
A must buy.
A must buy. I don't know, man. Christ. I don't know. It's got like 4.9 out of 5 though, and a lot of 5-star ratings, and that is kind of frightening, to be honest with you. A lot of 5-star there. Let's see here. Kay Stennett,
a game changer,
calls it a game changer. Just says B1.
Oh no, I'm gonna cringe to death, dude. I don't want to read that one. Look at that.
Yeah. Hold on. Here we go. All right. So Eve did review this, but it's not a verified review, so we don't know if it's legit or not.
Could just be Tariq Nasheed.
Could be. Probably is Tariq Nasheed. Washing that ass. Anyway, cancel culture doesn't work around these parts. This is the most important documentary of 2021 so far. In fact, it is a bestseller, and all these trolls ain't even seen it. Should show you why it's so important. Buy this film. Buy it for your family. They can't cancel what isn't theirs.
Buy it for your family.
Yeah, but but the way that it's like, for one, the no apostrophe here on isn't, and then theirs is also just completely misspelled. I mean, they're there and there, right? I mean, sure. Now, Christopher Ellis gives it a 5-star. Is there any verified reviews on this? I really want to see a verified review. All right, I want to see it. Was it here? Hold on. Michael P. Smith, PhD. Is that Henry Cavill? Is that an image of Henry Cavill?
God, it's Henry Cavill. That's Henry Cavill.
All right, so he reviewed this. He reviewed this back then. It says, oh my God. I bought this thinking it would be a historical documentary. It is not. It's propaganda for Islamist hetero-male dominance. It's full of hate, lies, and partial truths. This work is anti-LGBTQ, anti-Hindu, anti-Catholic, anti-Christian, anti-female rights equality, anti-Asian, anti-Hispanic, anti-Caucasian.
Wait a minute, Matt. That's everything.
That's everything. I know.
That's
Anti-communist, anti-socialist, anti-Marxist, anti-capitalist, anti-European, anti-American, anti-Nazi. This is everything. This work explains that the black man is feared and abused because of his large penis, that women should not work, stayed home to serve and service the black man. I could go on, but this work is simply so full of hate and lies. I am putting it out of my life. I only write this review to warn others to not give them your money. If you want to watch it, wait for it to come out or go on TV, your local library, and borrow it. I am not racist. I was raised by my mother who marched in this. Okay, whatever. But okay, I don't buy that at all as being a real thing. But again, man, it's like, I would like to see, where are the verified, right? Filtered by verified purchases only. Oh, okay. This guy was a verified purchase. The Henry Cavill doctor. It's a verified purchase. All right. We have someone here. Okay. Must see by ZG says, amazing movie and great, definitely eye-opening. I'm proud to be an FBA and will always remain loyal to the true grassroots. Now I'm curious, what is buck breaking FBA? What is that?
Jesus Christ.
I don't know. I don't know what FBA means here.
Know.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, hold on. Oh, wait. Maybe Tariq Nasheed's Twitter can tell us. I'm quickly looking. I don't see what it is. Tariq Nasheed. Oh, he's a foundational Black American. That's what it is. Foundational Black American is what this is. God damn you, Web Wizard, for taking us down this rabbit hole. Anyway, yeah, what's it here? We've got Law Dog says, great movie, but I had to return it because it constantly skipped. All right. They're gonna Buck Breaking 2 is gonna be coming, apparently. This person really liked it. I feel some of these are purchased. Damaged DVD. Yeah, okay, riveting stuff here.
Yeah, it came damaged.
It came damaged. Untold truths revealed. A fresh alternative perspective on America's current social climate with historical evidence to support. A great documentary. Look, I don't know. The thing is, everything I know about Tariq Nasheed is that the guy's full of shit. He always has been full of shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, a couple of years ago, there was a hashtag that we got going at VidCon. It was the hashtag Shut Up Tariq. And that actually ended up getting a friend of mine, Bunty King, completely booted out, banned off of Twitter. So it was pretty funny. And so, there's definitely a lot of crazy stuff there. Tony here says, did faux Henry Cavill get his doctorate from a gumball machine? Well, it was very much a purchase thing. So Webb here says, I'm going to probably upload the whole movie to BitChute and YouTube. I don't want to see it. I've seen the trailer and it's free on YouTube. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch it. Why would I want to watch it?
I ain't watching that shit. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I'm like it's definitely one of those things. So all right, real quick here, H Barts with $2. Thank you, man. Says Johnson Dwayne the Rick. That's right. The third name that the Dwayne the Rick Johnson goes by is the Rick. All right. Yeah, Ray says, can we please talk about The Rock again? Yeah, okay. Todd Fair with $20 with the very Kevin Feige for president of the United States.
All right, this is getting a bit too far. Like,
I mean, well, you know what, man. I'll say this about that one, right? Why not, right? Like, why not? Like, why not have, look, the guy is kind of single-handedly. I mean, that's just my argument for practically everything. Yeah, why not?
Well, okay. When you put it like that, I guess so.
just why not? Like, I think that works for a lot of different things.
It can't be more mismanaged than it has been for the past 8 years. Let's be honest.
No, it can't be. But I do love some Kevin Smith or some Kevin Feige. Kevin Smith. I'm just saying, if the guy can revitalize, if he can actually revitalize the Fantastic Four film franchise in a couple years, he can literally do anything. Let's be fair. That franchise has had multiple attempts. The 90s Corman movie, the 2005, 2007 films, the 2015 Abomination. There is clearly something here. Okay, command unit with 15 shekels, says Matt. Talk about something wholesome like 40K. Oh, man. Last night, I will admit, dude, last night was tough to get through. It was tough to get through. It's because I don't know anything about Warhammer, and that was a bit tough to get through. But I appreciate that. And I did get your message about the people to take a look at. So I will be looking at them tomorrow. So, all right. Why don't we talk about, why don't we talk about The Rock? Okay. We should, as always, we should be talking about The Rock. That is how this works on this channel.
Oh, we're talking about The Rock.
Talking about The Rock. So, with this weekend, we had new releases. We had the new Jungle Cruise movie decided to come on out. And originally it was slated to pull in only $25 million. And it actually came out here and decided it wanted to do $9 million more with a $34.1 million haul, which is pretty good. I will fully admit. I watched the movie at home. I would not pay to see it in theaters, but I figured home was okay. And I mean, the movie was fun. It wasn't anything to write home about, but this kind of big action spectacle is something clearly people wanted to see.
Yeah.
And that's good. It also had a 94% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes. And that would be through verified purchases, because that is how Rotten Tomatoes operates. So that's pretty decent here. So we see here that the movie did pretty well. Disney's Jungle Cruise sailed past this weekend box office competition to earn the #1 spot. The movie, which stars Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt, took in $34.1 million domestically. Jungle Cruise is the biggest family movie to open at the box office since the pandemic started, earning an additional $27.6 million overseas. Globally, the movie brought in a grand total of $91.8 million, with $30 million of that coming in from Disney Plus Premier Access. And so that's interesting, because just 2-3 weeks ago, they had Black Widow.
Yeah.
And that in its opening weekend pulled in $80 million. So, I mean, well over double, 2.5 times the amount that this movie did. And then it still made $60 million in Premier Access. So, I mean, that was a really solid opening weekend. The movie itself has kind of done okay. I mean, it hasn't wowed the numbers in following weeks, but this is the last big Premier Access release that Disney has. And clearly the movie's done well enough to where people are kind of championing it, even though the budget on this movie, I believe, was somewhere in the neighborhood of about $200 million. So that is, I just want to double check that. Let me double check that Jungle Cruise budget.
You know what this proves to me? That Emily Blunt's a movie star.
Emily Blunt's a movie star, absolutely. So the budget for Jungle Cruise is an estimated $200 million, with a combined production and promotional cost of $362 million. The movie needs roughly $500 million to break even. It's not going to hit $500 million. It's definitely not going to
break even. Are you serious?
Even. That's what I was just reading.
So you're telling me this movie is going to operate on a loss?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, like
Wow.
100%. It was never, I mean, it might do well on home video. It really just depends on how Disney Plus. I mean, look, the 30 million it made from Disney Plus Premiere, that's all profit, right? They don't have to share that with anybody. But the promotional costs are definitely there. And the $362 million on this movie wouldn't have even made that kind of money if the pandemic didn't happen. I'm sure it would have crossed 500 million. I don't doubt that one bit. But I mean, this is not $1 billion movie.
No, definitely not.
You know, it's not. And then looking into it more, because then some more information kind of came up about this. Well, real quick here, Daniel Scott says, thank you for $5. The Rock meets African Queen. I'm on board. And it's a fun movie. It's definitely a fun movie. But the idea here is that like it is also very light on plot until like the last like 30 minutes. And it's interesting storyline. I did dig it, but just the build up to get there, it was like, it just took forever to get there. So there's definitely that. But what else I was able to find out by looking around here, because again, people are talking about this whole thing with the Disney Plus Premier Access and Scarlett Johansson suing Disney. Well, they were asking, is The Rock going to sue? And that's a good question. The Rock here has said he won't be suing.
Oh, wow.
Well, this is the thing, is that movie sat as long as Black Widow did. Actually, not as long, because Black Widow was slated for May 2020 and this was slated for July 2020. But the deal that Disney came up with most likely centered around him and Emily Blunt getting a payday, and which would definitely, require a lot of stuff, a lot more money being spent. And they probably are well, they said here, I think The Rock said today that they are actually now exploring the Jungle Cruise 2 conversation, looking at the popularity of this film.
Do you think that's the entire reason why he's not going to take any legal action here, because he wants a sequel?
Most likely. I mean, Scarlett Johansson is out. She's done with the MCU. She's not even voicing her What If character.
What?
The animation. Yeah. She's not voicing What If. Tom Holland isn't voicing Peter Parker in What If.
Wait, what? Are they at least going to get people who sound similar? Because that's...
I would hope so. I would hope some people are coming back. Some people aren't coming back. It's a weird thing. However, they clearly, if they have their own deal worked out with Marvel, this is one of those things where The Rock worked this out with Disney and Alan Horn and the people at Walt Disney Studios. And so he's not worried. He got paid. Remember, The Rock is a businessman. He got paid. That's all he cares about. So we have to remember that one here. But also, as I found out today, apparently they have enough footage to fill another cut of the movie with raunchier humor. And The Rock said here that one of them is not PG-13. One of them is very red band. I want to see an R-rated Jungle Cruise.
It's a fucking Disney movie. Like, I'm surprised.
Yeah, it's a Disney. I mean, just because it's a Disney movie doesn't mean that they don't swear on set.
Sure.
It doesn't mean that they don't say dirty, rotten things. They do. I mean, it's a film set. Trust me, you will say a lot of stuff. It happens. But I think the fascinating thing here is like they're talking about how they have enough footage here for a red band version of this movie. And obviously it's a tease. Obviously Disney would never release it.
Yeah.
But that would still be kind of cool to see. I think, like, I've said this before, and let me just kind of posit this your way. I've always said it would be really interesting if studios took a dual layer approach or a double layer approach to releasing films. So what you have is you've got roughly about 5 screenings per day at theaters, right? You've got your morning, your early afternoon, your late afternoon, your early evening, your late evening. Those are your 5 screenings. Those are your times. If you were to take a movie like let's say Jungle Cruise, and you were to have it be PG-13 for the first 3 showings of the day, but the last 2 showings of the day, it's the R-rated red band cut. Wouldn't that be fascinating?
Oh, that'd be an amazing fucking move. I just don't see Disney. Like I said, maybe Deadpool 3 will open up their minds at least a little bit to more stuff like this. I'd love to see that happen. I'm not hedging my bets. I'm really not.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. I wouldn't hedge my bets on that one damn bit. All I'm saying, though, is like there are certain theaters like the AMC and Universal Studios at the City Walk in LA where after 6 p.m. kids aren't allowed in. And I'm saying, like, having like take Deadpool, for example. Deadpool could have a PG-13 cut that runs in the daytime that has, all the gore in the Deadpool movies was all digitally added in after the fact. All the blood was digitally added in. They could cut around that very simply. The movies come out on hard drives, and oftentimes they're beamed right to the studios. They're streamed right to the servers in the theaters. So it's like it's on a server that these cameras, these projectors pull from. So they could easily have multiple cuts of the movie. Now the problem would be if a projection is screwed up and put the wrong movie on the wrong time, but that happens anyway. Every year I hear a couple of stories about how a kid's movie was accidentally, taken over by a horror film. It's like little Johnny sat down to watch the movie about Miss Moffat, and he got more than he bargained for. When I Eat Ass 28 played, the adults only late night show showed children what it means to get deep in it anally. I mean, it's like,
hey, have you ever heard that story about there was like at some time on Cartoon Network years and years ago, I believe I was a kid at the time, at some time at 4 a.m. they like mixed up the clips that the footage that they were supposed to play, and they played some like old ass war movie that Warner Brothers had saved up like years and years ago, and it was really eerie and mysterious. You should look into that story sometime. It's weird what happened.
I'll have to check that out. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
So as we kind of wind this story down, as always, I want to hear your thoughts. 323-305-4101, 323-305-4101, because we could the Jungle Cruise. If you've seen it, I want to know your thoughts. I didn't really think it was the best movie ever, but it wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen either. So let's jump on to let's take a quick look here at what people are saying. All right. HBart's $2 says, talk about Zack Snyder. Not enough Snyderverse. Enough Snyderverse. Man, like we don't always need to be talking about the Zack Snyder. You know what I mean? It's like, there's other things there too, but we are going to be talking about something that is connected to Zack Snyder. So
it's all connected now.
It's all connected, man. It's all connected here, but we'll talk about that. Thank you. And then let's see here. Moisture for $5, man. Thank you. Says Disney's not afraid to make R-rated movies, just not under the Walt Disney Picture banner. That is true. I mean, Miramax was owned by Disney under the years of Pulp Fiction and Jefferson in Love and all of that stuff. Disney's got no problem with smut. They got no problem with smut. The company is about making money, but they just can't do it underneath that banner. Like no tarnish on the House of Mouse, but you can get and play in the mud with the pigs under a sub-label, which is why, Fox Studios is like 20th Century Studios now is going to be the R-rated arm of Disney, as well as having more adult content like that's going to air on Hulu and also be put out through the FXX network, which is what they own. I thought Disney actually owned Fox itself, Fox Broadcasting. They don't, but they have FX. They do own that one. So it's going to be very interesting to see what comes out of that as time goes on. So let's just take a quick look here at this article I saw popping up the other day. This is from Forbes, man, that says Warner's and HBO Max should actually release the Ayer cut of Suicide Squad. And I'm not trying to dive into the whole, fucking situation involving the Snyderverse shit. But when I think about this, I find it to be kind of fascinating because it's the first time I've seen like really a mainstream outlet come out in support of the Ayer cut. And Mark Hughes does make an interesting point about this. And a lot of it, in my mind, boils down to the financials, and it boils down to just like what you would need to get it done, which if David Ayer is telling the truth, it's less, like much less, significantly less than what would be needed for, let's say, the Snyder cut that came out a few months ago. So he says here that, writer director David Ayer responded on Thursday to new criticisms of Suicide Squad. What he says, he put out this really detailed post about his own life and struggles. I don't know if you saw this at all. I didn't cover it directly, but he was talking about here, like how he, when he lived in South LA, he was doing hood rat shit, got arrested, was in LA County probation forever. He was living a hard life living in LA. He said, I've seen bodies, blood, heads busted open, watched people die, stepped over brains on the sidewalk to catch my bus, been shot at more times than I can remember, got beat by LAPD. I mean, all of this stuff. And that's one of the reasons why, he resonates with the Suicide Squad, is because these are like, these are bad guys that are trying to do something good. you know, kind of like the underdog characters.
You're a bad guy, but not bad guy. You
yeah. Wow, a Wreck-It Ralph reference.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
It's a good movie.
Well, he says here, yeah, it is. It is a good movie. He says here, I put my life into Suicide Squad. I made something amazing. My cut is intricate and emotional journey with some bad people who are shit on and discarded. The studio cut is not my movie. And that's a big thing, is when he came out and said that the studio cut is not his movie, you know, he's finally kind of talking about that, right? And he makes a great comment here. He's like, my cut is not the 10-week director's cut. It's a fully mature edit by Lee Smith, standing on the incredible work by John Gilroy. It's all Stephen Price's brilliant score, not a single radio song in the whole thing. And I'm actually one of the people who enjoyed the radio edit of that movie, because that soundtrack actually went on to win a Grammy.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And it won, actually, I believe it won like costumes or something.
Yes,
it won
costume design. Yep.
Costume design. It won Oscar. So like, it's like, and then it's like, so the movie, you know, it won accolades. It made money. But you know, he's coming out finally 5 years later and saying that ain't my shit. But at the end of this year, he does say that he's proud of James Gunn and excited for the success that's coming. He's, you know, but he will no longer speak publicly on the matter. And of course, a lot of people, myself included, you know, decided that I chimed in with it a little bit, and I was like, all right, man, like, I want the Ayer cut. I think, you know, HBO Max should do it. And then of course, Forbes dropped this the other day. But really what is, you know, the biggest takeaway here ultimately is the last couple paragraphs right here, where it says here, Suicide Squad was a breakout hit, a blockbuster to the tune of 747 million without a release in China. It's one of the most successful and popular of the early DCEU films. Domestic and Blu-ray sales and rentals alone topped $100 million, not including international sales and rentals, and not including digital sales and rentals. And I mean, like, that's a lot of money. The movie was clearly profitable for Warner Brothers. Like, what the hell is going on? You know, and so he says here, why on earth wouldn't a studio want to release a new version of that film touted by the filmmaker as a very different and superior version?
There's nothing to lose. It's already all shot, right?
Yeah, there's nothing to lose. It's already all done. So they say here that releasing the Ayer cut of Suicide Squad would also add to the buzz and promotion and coverage of Gunn's The Suicide Squad.
True. That's actually very true. Yeah.
Now, I kind of disagree on that, and I'll tell you why I disagree on that. Because do you remember the movie Chappie?
I don't remember. No.
Right. That's fine. It's like, I love Neil Blomkamp, the director. He did District 9, but Chappie was a pile of shit. And
Okay.
during the lead up for Chappie, during the marketing tour for Chappie, one of the interesting aspects was when they had people asking about possible Alien, right? All right, they asked Neil Blomkamp something about Alien, and he said that he had actually been talking about doing Alien 5 with Sigourney Weaver. That was going to kind of be like Aliens 2.5, where it was going to, you know, deviate away from Aliens 3, and that they had actually come up with the storyline. They had concept art drawn up for Sigourney, so for Ripley and Michael Bihn's character. And, you know, and this was a big thing. And all of a sudden, all these people came out and they're like, holy shit, let's do, you know, Alien 5, Neil Blomkamp, bring back Sigourney Weaver. This is it. This is it. This is it. This is it. And it absolutely overtook the conversation surrounding Chappie. And I kind of marked that as a bad thing back then, because I'm like, oh shit, like, I really want to see Alien, but this is taking over the conversation for this new movie.
I see where you're coming from now.
And that can take, you know, the thing is though, but it's probably for the best, because I think more people remember the Alien 5 stuff than how bad Chappie is. But I've seen the Suicide Squad, and I can tell you it's fucking amazing. So, you know, I don't want to take away from that. And obviously David is at a point now where he's like, I don't really want to deal with this shit.
That's sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really sad, honestly.
You know, I mean, look, the thing is, like, we know that when it comes to the canon, that the Suicide Squad is like a soft reboot of Suicide Squad. It shares some of the same DNA. There is some, you know, like it's kind of in the same realm of maybe an Elseworld story, a little bit of tie over, but it's not directly connected. You know what I mean? And so they could still put it out there and give people the opportunity to see this other version of it. And I think, like, again, talking about The Rock and the R-rated version of Jungle Cruise, why not have that out there? You know, I mean, why not find a way to put out these more mature copies of it? Because the thing is, there's an audience for that. Like, I I would watch something, that would be an R-rated cut of a movie because I would just want to see the different takes. And I don't know, man. It says here too. It's like, and then the guy also brings up that Warner's Flash movie is literally incorporating multiple past versions of the characters from contradictory films, and the entire HBO Max library includes a ton of different films offering a wide variety of different versions. And he's right. It's a silly, pointless argument that doesn't fit the evidence, nor is it consistent with everything else the studio is doing with these films. This is an easy call. Release the Ayer cut. And I completely agree with that. I would love to see the Ayer cut. And I would hope that more people like Mark Hughes here would come on out and actually start to push for this sort of thing. Because look, with the success of the Snyder cut, all things are possible on that front. There's no reason to not do it. But again, Warner's is just in this, let's forget everything that happened before, really before Wonder Woman 2017. Let's just forget everything else that happened and move on. But maybe we'll get lucky. Who knows? Maybe Mikey Sutton will drop by and blow my mind with the scoop talking about how this is actually going to be going forward, and that, because they were giving me shit yesterday, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens with that. But in the meantime, what are your guys' thoughts on this? I do want to hear it. Call the voicemail line 323-305-4101, 323-305-4101. I know that's probably getting a little bit on the annoying side, but you gotta repetition is how people remember the name.
That's true.
That's how you gotta do it. But all right, let us pull back from there. So I'll take a quick look here at the chat here. All right. Command unit dropping the 5 or 15 shekels. Thank you, man. It says here, possible names for R-rated Disney Plus: Walt Plus, Elias Plus, which was Walt Disney's middle name.
Oh, you mean Hulu?
Well, yeah, Hulu or Star, actually, outside of the other countries.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, or outside of the U.S., I should say. You've got a lot of people that have like access to Star. It's an add-on for Disney Plus. Here we have Hulu. So, I would like to see Hulu. Well, there is Hulu Plus, actually. That's what I pay for. But at the end of the day, I think it'd be very fascinating to see more people embrace the R-rated, because if you're going to embrace the more crazy violent shit, might as well play it up,
Yeah.
Because people, if you're going to like, don't half-ass it. I think at this point, just stop half-assing that shit. And so many people do that because they're just afraid. And then also Benson here with 5, thank you, says, watched Suicide Squad last night. Fantastic movie with violence, humor, heart, and a great story. It's a definite message that Warner Brothers is rebooting the DCU.
That's a bit of a hot take there, isn't it?
Oh, Benson. Oh yeah. No. You got to talk to him about hot takes in regards to,
okay.
He's more militant that this shit's over than I am, but it's all right. It's all right.
The only thing that good, in my opinion, that came out of the failure of the DCEU is honestly that I do kind of look forward to at least some more films that are based on making just a good film and not always setting up other stuff and stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's one thing I've been kind of tired of when it comes to comic book films. I'm looking forward to DC, at least for a little while, doing some more standalone stuff that can, stand on its own and not just have to be part of a greater universe to be appreciated.
Oh, no, I would like to, I'm actually the opposite. I think you can do things that stand alone that are also part of a larger world. And that's not hard to do. And if you don't want to have it all be connected, then you can find ways to make that work. But having continuity within the world itself, at least, shows audiences that they give a shit. And in many instances, a lot of these places don't give a shit.
Yeah,
DC clearly is like, we need money. And as a result of that, it ends up not really working out the best way for them. So hold on here. HBarts does say you can get Star with a VPN. That is true. But then again, isn't like all the same stuff that's on Hulu? So I don't know. I definitely have no idea. If I don't live outside of the United States, I have all that. So, all right. Let me take a quick look here at the next thing. So one of the things that came out today that I thought was really interesting was that apparently there's going to be way more Alex Kurtzman with Star Trek going forward. And this, of course, is going to trigger and anger a whole bunch of people because apparently Alex Kurtzman ain't done and he has just been extended to 2026 with CBS Studios.
Oh, man. Some people are going to be really butt mad about that.
Some people are going to be really mad about that. You know what I mean? I was actually listening to some people tonight. This is how I found out about it. I didn't even know about it today. And then this was a big thing. Look, here's what people need to realize is you can dislike Star Trek Discovery and whatever they're doing over there all you want. They've got 5 shows right now. They got 5 fucking shows. You've got Discovery, you've got Lower Decks, you've got Picard, you've got the upcoming animated series, and you got the upcoming, I think, the New Worlds or whatever it is, another spin-off show of Discovery.
They are trying very hard to make Star Trek relevant again.
They're not even trying. They have made it relevant. Let's be fair. If you're pushing 5 shows at almost at one real given time, like that is relevant.
Well, it does seem really insular to its own community because I don't really hear about Star Trek that often outside of people who already like it. But I don't know. It seems like they're doing okay, at least at retaining the attention of people who are already Star Trek fans. I don't know if it's growing, though, is my point.
Well, I mean, obviously, look, the thing is Star Trek is appealing to a different demographic. And that demographic, because Star Trek is really, nowadays, Star Trek has heavily been pushing inclusion. They've been heavily pushing diversity. They openly feature non-binary and trans and LGBT actors.
Star Trek was always progressive, though.
They were always progressive. And that's the funny thing. Star Trek was always fucking woke. It was whatever. No, seriously, it was. Go back and look at like what Roddenberry has said. Go back and look at how that shit was portrayed. The first interracial kiss on TV was between William Shatner and Nichelle Nichols, and that was a big thing. So much so that they were effing up their other takes, so the editors couldn't cut around them kissing. Because they were a little bit worried about what it's going to be like if people out there see a white man and a black woman kissing on television. Oh, no. It's going to rain cats and dogs. It's going to be mass hysteria, all that stuff. And the show was always woke. It was very progressive. It was a very, anti-materialistic society, the Federation was, and everything else. And yet people today, the ones that are super mad about this, the ones that call it woke and the ones that constantly attack it, are like, they fail to understand the core tenets of what Roddenberry was creating. And they don't, these are the same people, by the way, that are freaking out over Masters of the Universe, calling it woke, calling everything woke. Everything is, because that was the thing. You sent me the Nerdrotic video clip earlier today, right? About Marvel's Katie. And it's like, oh, is it, it's like, come on, you're already trying to create a narrative by saying that Aquafina in Shang-Chi is going to end up being the new Rose Tico. And it's like, come on, guys, are you really scraping the bottom of the barrel?
Oh, no. And chick better make fun of her, point and laugh. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Oh, I know. It's so ridiculous. And we are going to talk really quickly about that here in a second, with the last story of the night, really. But the interesting thing here is that so many people are, they buy this shit without ever really thinking about what it is that Star Trek was. So anyway, Kurtzman's secret hideout banner will expand under the new agreement to add add an executive to help manage its growing slate of series. Longtime Kurtzman partner Heather Caden remains the head of content, which is shepherding 5 Star Trek branded series, as well as the Comedy Rule and the upcoming The Man Who Fell to Earth. So, I mean, the company has become a reliable supplier of high-end shows for CBS, Showtime, and Paramount Plus. And right now, they need that. Paramount absolutely needs that because they're competing on that space. They are competing with, Universal and Peacock and Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and Disney Plus and all the other stuff, HBO Max, all the other stuff. But Star Trek is going to be part of it. And look, Paramount has a lot of very high-end brands. But Star Trek is kind of its crown jewel.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
They are very much trying to let people know at this point that they are happy with things. Now, if you've been ever following a lot of the negative Nancy's here on YouTube that talk about Star Trek, they've been saying for years, Star Trek Discovery is canceled. Star Trek Discovery is over. The show is not going to be allowed to move forward. It's we're not getting another season. And then they say all these things, and then people go out and they go, but no, look, they've got, because they film it in Toronto. Oh no! Look over there! Look over there! They're shooting it right now, and it just every time. Keep in mind, this is all the Doomcroc crowd of people, right? The Doomcock, whatever you want to call them, Doom dipshit, whatever. I mean, like, this is a guy who says constantly the sequel trilogy is going to get canceled. All of this is going to get canceled, and he said Star Trek Discovery is going to get canceled. All of these people are wrong all the time. They're wrong, 100%, and yet they continuously think that they're right. And that is a hell of a grift that they have. I'll fully admit. But it's definitely, look, they say here, keeping Kurtzman in the Viacom CBS family was important to the conglomerate at a moment of skyrocketing competition for top creative talent. He's a creative steward who plots out the storylines and distribution strategies for Star Trek content for years to come. At present, the Trek tote board encompasses Paramount Plus's Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Picard, Star Trek Lower Decks, and the upcoming Star Trek Prodigy. And then also on top of that too, Star Trek Strange New Worlds. And here's the thing, we're going to probably end up getting a lot of other Star Trek shows in the process.
Oh, wow. See that right there where it says Star Trek Prodigy is going to be going on Nickelodeon? Yeah, they're clearly trying to make new Star Trek fans with that one right there. That's
100%.
That's what I've been saying that they've been failing at these past few years. They haven't really been getting many new people into Star Trek. So I'm good. I'm glad they're at least trying to do that. That's a good sign.
Well, and that's, again, think of it like this, right? So they've got the Star Trek Lower Decks, which aims to kind of appease the Rick and Morty fans.
Yeah, that's like an adult comedy.
It's an adult comedy.
Cool.
There are people I have talked to that hated Discovery. They were worried as hell about Lower Decks, and they found themselves absolutely loving Lower Decks. I've seen like 3 episodes of it, and I liked it. Nice. I know the new season drops here, I think, next week. And a lot of people out there are like, they have a fan base for that, and they want to keep with it. This new Star Trek Prodigy show, which I saw the trailer for not too long ago, looks pretty interesting. And I think it is going to end up really appealing to a lot of younger people out there. And that's the thing, is it's good. If you can't sit there and get kids to come over to fucking Star Trek by showing them the motion picture.
Yeah.
Or even, I'm sorry, this is a hot take. This is a bold take, or even the original series. As much as I love the original series, that shit is boring as fuck sometimes.
A lot of people have agreed it hasn't aged as well as like the Next Generation.
No, the Next Generation was very, very episodic, and it was very, it's very much made for TV.
I think that still holds up quite a lot.
It does, yeah. I mean, and I know people now who've been getting into DS9, and I could never get into DS9, but they've told me like, no, skip like the first season or two, and like come on in like three seasons in, or just kind of, or barrel through it because it's really good. Or Star Trek Enterprise, or Star Trek Voyager. There's a lot of other shows out there that, that came out in like the 90s and early 2000s. I mean, we had a solid like 16 years of Star Trek shows with Next Generation, DS9, Voyager, Enterprise. You had Star Trek, Star Trek, the original crew doing at least was 90, early 90s for Star Trek 6, I believe. Then you had Star Trek Generations in the late 90s, followed up by the 3 other TNG movies. And then, so that's all like in a pretty,
it was really just like the late 2000s, early 2010s where we didn't have much Star Trek content.
Well, we had the JJ. We had the JJ reboot of it. Yeah. And a lot of people out there have not been fans of the JJ. I like the JJ movies, but I can understand like why they want to appeal to that demographic, and that's also why, again, like just recently it was reported that Star Trek 4 with Chris Pine and the original cast is going to be working. They're doing a 4th Star Trek movie, and the last one came out 5 years ago. So it's one of those things where you can see that there is still a very, very dedicated fan base of people out there, and the ones that are trying to decry it as being over do not know at all what in God's name it is that they're talking about.
You know what it is? They just want the same reaction, the same money, more importantly, that they got out of making fun of the Star Wars sequels, which are just more latent with issues. Like, there's so much to riff on there with like the sequels compared to like anything else. Like, they're just trying to get the same grift, I feel like, that they were trying to get off like the Star Wars hate off pretty much everything else.
And that's essentially all it really boils down to at this point, is just a lot of that. And everyone's like, oh, all right.
Get the fuck out of here.
So yeah, anyway, I do want to hear what you guys have to say about this. As always, you can call in a voicemail number 323-305-4101 and get maybe played here on the show. So 323-305-4101. 4101. I got to memorize that. I will memorize that, and it will be glorious. But I mean, look, I'll tell you, probably one of the crazier things that I've seen today, in all things considered, with this, with again, this big news day. There's still more things to talk about. My God, is that we've seen this new one now, where apparently the Sunday Times is talking about the big titles of the past decade are brands and franchises that are established in numerous prequels and sequels. Robert Downey Jr. is a leading man, but his Iron Man can be played by almost anyone with wit. The character is more important to audiences than the actor.
So this is what started it all, huh?
This is what started it all. This is, I had seen this floating around on social media today. I know you had recommended this to me as well.
Yep.
And, you know, like, I would say very much that this is a horrible fucking take. And it's been quote tweeted, quite a bit, actually. It's been quote tweeted now 5,796 times. You know, with
fucking
people here
ratioed.
Oh yeah, no. If there ever was a tweet that's going to get ratioed, this is the tweet that's going to get ratioed. Wolf here saying, "Hell no, just no. Can't imagine anyone else playing him." Josh Gad, Mr. Olaf, the talking snowman himself, says, "What a truly dumb take." It's what you'd expect from Josh Gad.
Yeah.
Parker Malloy here. Counterpoint. Here's how Iron Man was being discussed back in 2007. So, you know, this is again an old New York Times article talking about the birth of the MCU a full year before even Iron Man came out.
Nice.
Saying additionally, Marvel's slate of up to 10 films will be based on second-tier superheroes who may not resonate with younger moviegoers. And so,
oh yeah, that's true. No, that's 100% true though. That line is very true because like Iron Man was a B-lister until, you know, RDJ and the films came in and made him a fucking A-list hero. He used to just be a fucking B-lister. Maybe not even a B-lister. Like, some people would have considered him to be like a C-list hero at that time. But no, RDJ is to thank for, how Iron Man is looked at these days as one of the main fucking Marvel heroes. If not the main Marvel hero.
Oh, I know. Oh, I absolutely know, man. I know. The thing is, when they said RDJ was playing, when RDJ was playing that character, you know, a lot of people were like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. A lot of people were very happy with that because it felt like the idea was that they were going to, you know, be like they were picking someone who seemed to fall in line with all of that, right? So one of the reasons why essentially has everything to do with Robert Downey Jr.'s past. You know, he had been booted off of Ally McBeal. You know, his movie roles were terrible at that time, outside of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which is an amazing movie and you should totally see it. But the thing is that a lot of these, a lot of people kind of tossed him off. They just went, no, he is not worthy. He's not worth it. Let's just let this guy go away. And then audiences really went with him. Brandon Davis here from comicbook.com says there are actors in hugely successful franchise roles that can be replaced and the franchise can be equally successful. Iron Man is not one of them.
Yeah,
it's true. I will say this though. Robert Downey Jr. has had trouble getting other movies to resonate with audiences as well as Iron Man, and that is true. I mean, Sherlock Holmes is the only other franchise that he has, and even that one, you know, came out nearly a decade ago. And they're working on a third one that I don't even know what's happening with that. He did that Doolittle movie, which crashed and burned. And even during his reign as the lead of the MCU in the first phase, he did a movie called The Judge with Robert Duvall that he produced. And that still came out and got like tanked in reviews and crashed and burned. So it's kind of like, you know, you have to ask yourself like, okay, you know, is this criticism about these, you know, characters, these actors playing characters, is that a real thing? And the answer to that is yes. And even Anthony Mackie has said that a while ago, where, you know, he's like, people are wanting to see me, you know, they're coming to see Falcon. They're not coming to see me. Robert Downey Jr., though, is so intrinsically tied, though, to that role that there's no other way to look at it. There's literally no other way to look at it. He is so tied to that role that even attempting to separate the two is going to cause massive, massive problems. But Michael Patterson here says, with the wrong actor, Iron Man could have been highly unlikable. With the right actor, he could have been a solid but forgettable hero, with the perfect actor, he became legendary.
Yeah, a snarky billionaire elitist, like that could have been so easily dislikable, especially in this day and age. But no, he fucking sells it, and he makes it one of the most. The most likable character in the MCU, in my opinion. He's definitely got some competition. There's some other great likable characters, but hey, he's the best fucking one, in my opinion.
Everyone watching this right now would turn up in a heartbeat to watch another Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man go.
I'm kind of disappointed we didn't get an Iron Man 4. I'm fine with it, but like still, I still would have loved to just see him get another film. That would have been awesome. But whatever, if that's the last we ever see of him, at least he went out with honor and dignity. So
yeah, well, this woman here, Alicia Garuso, who writes for Screen Rant, so automatically the opinion is invalid. She says here, don't understand why people are getting mad about this tweet. RDJ is iconic, but had he not played Iron Man, somebody else would have, and no one would have thought twice.
Yeah, and then Iron Man would have still been a goddamn B-list character, because I guarantee you the MCU probably wouldn't have fucking taken off as much as it did if they didn't have such an awesome actor who fit the role so well start off their fucking franchise.
If you've seen the test footage from other actors that they were putting in the role, clearly it's him.
Who was the main Tom Cruise that they wanted to play Iron Man?
Tom Cruise is one they wanted. I think they really wanted Robert Downey Jr. above all else. But the thing is, look, Tony Stark is a man who's always been kind of, rife with his own destructive forces.
Yep.
Demon
in a bottle. That was one of the
Demon in a Bottle is a great one. Yeah. And all like the womanizing and everything else that he's done. And then dealing with the fact that, he's got all these demons, obviously. Robert Downey Jr. had the same way. Robert Downey Jr.'s success is tied to the MCU, and its success is tied to Robert Downey Jr. There's no question about that. When you think about it, though, it's like the character of Tony Stark literally saved Robert Downey Jr. very much like the character of the persona of Iron Man is what saved Tony Stark in the comics.
Very true. Very, very true.
And to come out again, this is another weak ass take from Alicia here. I think James Gunn had said something. Someone had told me about this, that James Gunn.
Oh, wow.
Had said
James
something.
Gunn gave us 2 cents.
Well, that's what I had heard that earlier tonight. I don't quite know if he did or didn't. It might be in here, maybe not. Although, let's hear Mike K says this is one of the worst takes I've ever seen in pop culture.
That deserves a like.
And he's a Philadelphia Eagles beat writer. He's probably watched his favorite team get crunched quite a bit.
The person who wrote.
Oh, man. Like, what the fuck is this take? And then a great, like...
Can I show you something real fast? Like something that really resonated with me a lot when I first initially saw this.
Yeah, by all means, yeah. Yeah, post just screen share it and I'll bring it up.
Yeah, all right, here you go.
All right. So...
From Stan Lee right here. This gentleman was born to play Tony Stark, and the way he looks is exactly as I pictured him.
Yeah, no, Stan Lee was 100% behind.
Oh yeah, 100%.
100% behind that casting, and a lot of people out there tend to forget that. Like, it's like, and also it's really fascinating how many people are just like, they don't. A lot of people don't understand how things come together. All right, and that's a big part of it. And these movies take a lot of time to get together. They have to find the right people. And that was, again, even though you can sit there and say that that Stan Lee wanted this, Feige was also one of the ones that, he made it happen. And so he fought for the, awesome. He fought for this. And so that's something, again, you have to remember is this is very much a team effort. And Robert Downey Jr. didn't look at this like a gift in the like a gift horse, right? Or don't look a gift horse in the mouth. That saying, because so many other people might have done. Look at Edward Norton. Edward Norton, not to say that he was in the same career trajectory as Robert Downey Jr. back in 2008, but him coming out and him like not doing press for the Incredible Hulk and there being a very public feud for that, absolutely tanked his coming back and being iconic on that front. Right. And since then, his career has not, I would say, probably not fully recovered. Whereas Downey Jr., he might have had his beef behind, he might have had beef at some point in time, as I'm sure there would be conflict and heads butting, but he's always been a team player and he's always, gotten what he wanted, but he always worked at them. And I'm sure kept a very nice professional relationship. And as a result of that, his loyalty to that brand is one of the things that has made him as popular as he is. And that's, again, when I talk about The Rock, the loyalty to the brand And that's a big factor. And that's kind of why, RDJ, that tweet triggered so many people, nearly 6,000 quote tweets, the vast majority of which were like, yo, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, that even sent me into a goddamn spiral. I'm the same person who is perfectly fine with Wolverine being recast. So
yeah, don't be a monster, Andy. Don't be a
what?
monster.
I know.
No,
disclaimer: I love Hugh Jackman. He's a great Wolverine. I want to see a new interpretation of the character. That's
fine. But do you want to see a new interpretation of Iron Man?
Not for a very long time. Not for a very long time.
All right, I can live with that. Not for a very long time. I think that's something we can all get behind.
Yeah.
Let me take a quick look here at some super chats I missed. Daniel Scott here, $5, man. Thank you. Says Sandman series. I forget the question that I asked, but I appreciate the $5. I think that's to do with like what R-rated series would be good, or I forget. Thank you very much. Benson here says Militant. Would you agree that the first 10 minutes of Suicide Squad is sending a message to AR fans that their version is dead? I would say the first 10 minutes of that movie definitely says that you're not getting a sequel that you want. But the cut of that film is not going to lead into a sequel. Now, granted, if Warner's does do an AR cut, if they put it out there, it's going to be the same thing as the Restore the Snyderverse crowd. It's going to be the same people that are like, no, restore the AR-verse. And it's like, look, let these things exist in their own, in a vacuum. Let them exist there, because that's clearly not what they want to do, but if they put it out, then say thank you, and then just move on with your day and hope that things have a way of working themselves out in the end.
Yeah.
Here's a weird one. Jat Marbo, $15. Hello, Matt Jarbo. It's good to finally meet you. Well, Jat Marbo is, okay. Sure.
Hey, that's $15 though. That's 15 fucking bucks.
I will take the 15. I'm not, I'm not against that at all. Definitely. Thank you very much for that, Jat. I have a feeling I know who that is, because Jat Marbo is a running gag, but still thank you guys very much for that one. And let's kind of go through. All right. All right. Eric here says Screen Rant isn't so bad. It's no, we got this covered. And they got some decent people like, I know Stephen Colbert. I like Stephen Colbert, but they also put out a lot of trash, dude. let's be fair. Let's be fair. They put out a lot of trash. Screen Rant does. They put out, they get 90 million clicks a month on their website. Like,
how do you think they get that? How do you think they get that?
I used to have an RSS feed set up for Screen Rant. I had to disable it because it would put out like upwards of 300 articles a day.
That's obtuse, man. Like,
it was bad, dude. It was bad. Like, it was like, holy shit. What is going on here? Why do you have so many articles? I'm not going to read any of these. But they put out a lot of content. That is very true. Daniel Scott here with another $5, man. Thank you. Says, I think the old Star Trek's messaging was more subtle, so it flew over people's heads. So they are just now realizing that they're supposed to be offended.
That's fair, honestly. That probably is what it boils down to. Is like, it was more subtle stuff. But there was some not so subtle stuff, like that kiss, which is definitely not fucking subtle. That was a huge.
Oh no, that kiss wasn't subtle at all, man. That shocked a lot of people back in the day.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest example, but I do think overall that this the super chat here is right. That the messaging was more subtle, and I wish that's something that more media would focus on when they're trying to give messages and shit like that. I wish they'd be a little bit more subtle and a little less on the nose, but it is what it is.
It would be nice. Yeah, it would be very nice.
Because they want a pat on the head, right? They want the people who they were trying to appeal to pat them on the head and be like, look, it's so obvious.
Yeah. Don't you guys just love me? Oh my goodness here.
No, we don't. But okay.
Yeah, I do wish the media would actually focus more on positive news.
Yeah, me too.
Like I know, if you look at even the thumbnail of this stream, the thumbnail is, Matt Damon canceled, and then The Rock with money bags. So it's a very kind of conflicting thumbnail, and I love it because people are gonna go, what the hell's going on?
He's canceled. Why?
He's canceled. What's going on in The Rock? And then, of course, I am going to be, the clips are going to be coming out because I've already been kind of clipping those. So all right, let's do the last big one of the night here, because I don't know about you, but I've been a fan of the Family Guy franchise for over 20 years. You know, it's got its ups, it's got its downs, but for the most part, I've always loved how Seth has approached it, and I've always enjoyed the irreverent, over the top humor. You know, but now apparently Seth is finally kind of hitting his breaking point. And it says here that Tucker Carlson annoys Seth MacFarlane so much that he's considering taking Family Guy off of Fox.
Oh my god. Family Guy might actually end. That'd be awesome. Wait, they're not even owned by the same company anymore?
They're not owned by the same company, actually. I had to look this up. I had to figure. So Fuzzy Door Productions, or Fuzzy Door Studios, is the company that Seth runs, that oversees Family Guy, American Dad, the Cleveland show when it was on, and whatever else they do. And but they have a deal. They have a deal with Fox Broadcasting Company to distribute the Family Guy show. Mm-hmm. And remember, American Dad was on Fox until they took it off, and
it's on
TBS.
now.
TBS picked it up, and they're in like their 17th or 18th season, which is super fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, and the show is still going strong. It's still going really strong. But you know, Seth here also has signed another deal with NBC, and that's something that he's kind of, you know, hinting at here. So it says here that Family Guy creator Seth MacFarlane said he's getting so fed up with Fox News' star host Tucker Carlson that he's toying with moving his animated adult comedy show to another network. MacFarlane said that Carlson's antics on Fox News has him rethinking Fox Broadcasting Company as the home for Family Guy and his other animated sitcom American Dad, where, well, that's not actually accurate because American Dad is off there. Yeah. Although it's not the same division as Fox News, it is under the same corporate umbrella. So you might be thinking to yourself, wait a minute here, hold on. Didn't Disney purchase Fox a couple of years ago? Didn't Disney end up getting their hands on Fox Television? Well, they got Fox Television, but they didn't get Fox Broadcasting Company.
That's movies and news and sports, right?
That's no, that's Fox News. Yeah. But that's in sports as well.
Okay.
And so ultimately, you know, Fox Corporation, which is a subsidiary of News Corp, still owns Fox Broadcasting. So the deals that like Disney has to put The Simpsons on the air on Fox is something they work out still with Fox Broadcasting.
Oh, okay.
And so now, I mean, it wouldn't be difficult, I think, for Family Guy to move to another network like FXX, because that is owned by Disney, or perhaps even maybe NBC, although that would be a bad idea because they'd probably cancel it.
Matt, it's time, Matt. Like
it's time. Is it time to let Stewie finally go? To let Stewie grow up and take over the world?
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Like it's time. I love Seth MacFarlane. Hate what Family Guy's become. That's what it boils down to for me. I think Seth MacFarlane's really talented. I think he's awesome. Like he reps fucking New England. How can I fucking hate the guy? But like, Family Guy has just gone way too downhill. I used to love that show, and it used to like be really good at balancing both comedy and like the family dynamic. But now it's just a pure comedy show. They don't give a fuck about the characters. I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like that. I feel like the show's been too bastardized. It's really shameful, honestly.
Well, I think Seth himself is ready for it to die, but it's also very similar to The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Fox is not ready for it to die. The Simpsons, as much as I love The Simpsons, should have been taken out to pasture and like beaten with a stick a long time ago.
The Simpsons deserved to go out with dignity. It deserved that. It really did.
So at this point, are you trying to say that it's kind of turned into like a dementia patient, and it's just slowly dying? Probably.
Sad but true, man.
Sad but true,
Sad but true, yeah.
But anyway, well, here's what Seth MacFarlane did say on Twitter. Tucker Carlson's latest opinion piece once again makes me wish Family Guy was on any other network. Look, Fox, we both know this marriage isn't working anymore. And then he says, the sex is only once a year. I don't get along with your mother. And well, I've been having an affair with NBC. and that is actually true. A year and a half ago, Seth MacFarlane left Fox after 21 years for a $200 million deal with NBCU. I mean, this is the thing. He's already bailed out. He left a year and a half ago And I'm pretty sure that NBC or Peacock or something would probably want to try to get their hands on it to some extent.
Yeah,
But,
probably.
really, honestly, something like Comedy Central is probably going to be like a better place for it overall. But I mean, look, the reality, the likelihood of Fox cutting the show loose is probably pretty minimal. I would say that this might be a joke from Seth as a way to kind of, preempt a negotiation tactic, right? To kind of push Fox Core to give him a better deal for, re-upping the show for another couple seasons or something. Like, well, I could just leave and take it someplace else, and there would go a fair amount of your revenue stream.
I just don't understand why Tucker cares so much now. It's like Fox News and Family Guy have been on the same under the same umbrella for the longest time. Ever since he started Family Guy, Fox News has been there. Like, I don't get what makes it so weird now. I get Tucker Carlson's egregious, but is he ultimately that much worse than someone like Bill O'Reilly? Really?
I mean, it's definitely it's appealing to a different audience, that's for sure.
Sure.
I would argue that, there's certain things where you can look the other way, but after what's happened in the last year, last 2 years, how more militant and radicalized Tucker has gotten, how we know that Tucker is he doesn't believe a word of what he says.
He's going to get kicked off Fox News eventually. I believe that.
I mean, he's pulling in better numbers than Sean Hannity at this point. So,
Yeah,
and that's frightening. And that's frightening.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, Hannity at this point is coming out and saying, get the vax, get the vax, get the vax.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Tucker's like, you don't know about the vaccine. You don't know what it could be. Is it just melted micro machines? You have no way of knowing.
That's the fucking thing. I don't think that they're going to want that type of branding. I think they're going to want, like, the traditional conservative, like Sean Hannity, to take back control of their network at some point. I don't think they're going to want this for the rest of eternity because it's dangerous. It's like playing with fire. Like, they're already getting sued, and they're waiting for more and more lawsuits the longer they have this fucking schmuck on their airwaves.
Well, I agree with you. I do agree with you on that one. I do think we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But one of the reasons why I earlier mentioned Nerderotic, because Nerderotic, Gary, is very much a right-wing culture warrior. He is an anti-SJW, very much, at this point, definitely an SJW of his own, horseshoe
certified
theory
chud.
Certified chud's a great way. Did you know that Seth MacFarlane follows Nerderotic? I can explain.
Okay.
I can explain. So the reason why Seth follows Gary is because Gary was very much pro Orville, and he's pro Orville because he's anti Star Trek. So Gary is put out a lot of pro Orville content, and as a result of that, Seth doesn't probably know just how abhorrent of a human being Nerderotics is, but they had a sizable audience on YouTube that was getting some play. And so he invited him in 2019 to meet him at Comic-Con. And I know that happened. And so, I mean, I always thought that was kind of funny. So it goes to show you that really, if you're talking about your argument earlier about Seth, being around for so long, that doesn't mean he always pays attention.
So here's what I don't understand about this whole thing from Nerderotic's perspective. Like, Seth MacFarlane's a liberal. He talks about how he's a liberal all the fucking time in his shows and in his personal life. He talks about it. It's very apparent where he lands politically. Now, I don't think he's like a far left or anything like that. He's probably just like center left, but that does not seem like the type of person that this Nerderotics person would get along with. So, like,
well, there's a reason for that, and that, of course, has everything to do with access. If you remember during the whole Geeks and Gamers situation with Zack Snyder, they got really mad because Zack was access, and then Zack had to come out and, basically just disavow. And before then, like, Gary was on that live stream leading up to Zack's appearance. Why would a guy who's got 300,000 plus subscribers, who's like the biggest name in the fandom menace, also one of the worst culture warriors, why would he not want to be there when Zack came on? He left beforehand because I think at that point they knew that Gary couldn't be there with Zack because of the optics of how it would look. Even Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers wasn't there. And they were all talking about about Hollywood needs them because they control, an aspect of the culture. And that's a lot of it is these guys, they claim to control an aspect of the culture, that they have influence, and that influence can be wielded as power, and that they want Hollywood to reach out to them as tastemakers in order to validate their idiocy, lunacy, and bigotry.
Ugh.
In order to, again, make their pee-pee hard. That's really what it boils down to. What it really boils down to is that they are trying to force people to come to them. So by coming out and attacking Star Trek by propping up Orville, and you get the attention of Seth MacFarlane, who obviously wants his show to do well because he's a massive, massive Star Trek fan. And they got Brandon Braga, who was on, I think, Enterprise, as the exec producer and director of a bunch of episodes. So it has a very big Star Trek feel to it.
Yeah.
Obviously, any kind of, and I know other people, other YouTubers that have been pro Orville, who also were invited to the Orville experience at San Diego Comic-Con in 2019. So I know about that. I know that they were there. I know that they didn't get the chance to meet them, but they got to know the other producers on the show, and the producers on the show are really thankful that YouTubers are pushing Orville.
Do you think the chances are it's just like he saw someone with like a high number on their follower count, and he was like, "Wow, someone being supportive of my work, I'll give him a follow," and then he just did it, didn't think much of it. Probably, yeah, that's probably what happened. Yeah.
That's probably about it. I don't know how much of it he follows, or I don't know how much time he spends on Twitter. But I think anyone from the Orville production staff that might look into that, anyone from the PR department or whatever, might look into it and just go, "Ooh, maybe not him." maybe we don't do that. But then again, if they distance themselves, then they're just going to go out there and claim, "Oh, Seth MacFarlane canceled us," and fuck the Orville, and the same kind of crap that's going to happen.
MacFarlane doesn't give a fuck about them.
No,
they don't care. Fucking smoking weed all day and chilling.
Yeah,
out.
well, and also the Orville is going to be on Hulu. It's not going to be on NBC, where you can, like, I don't know, not even they don't have enough power to yield any kind of actual boycott power.
Yeah.
But again, all of these people, right? They all come out and they say, "Oh, Masters of the Universe is woke garbage. Delete Netflix over cuties and all this other faux outrage nonsense." But yet they all watch it on day one. They all review it. They all talk about it. They've all wanted to cancel Disney Plus because of Gina Carano, but they're all talking about all of the Marvel shows. So clearly they're hypocrites, and clearly they're liars, and clearly they have no power. But I always thought that connection between them was kind of interesting. So maybe Seth is waking up. Maybe he's realizing that, he's going to mess with some of this stuff. And if he actually leaves Fox and he takes Family Guy someplace else, that's going to be really, really interesting. So if you guys are listening to this, I want to hear, where do you think he would take the show? Yeah, leave a comment below. Let me know in the chat right now, or call in 323-305-4101. I'm doing it. I'm pimping it. The 323-305-4101. And I thank you all very much for tuning into this part of the show.
I did see someone suggest that he gets his ass over to Netflix, and honestly, he'd probably be way happier over
that $500 million deal, or that $200 million deal is going to end up. That's going to be Peacock, man. Like whatever he's creating at NBCU is going to be on Peacock.
That's true.
I mean, because I don't think I just don't see them. I don't see his brand of humor doing. Oh no, he's doing TED. He's doing the TED TV show.
Oh, there's gonna be a TED TV show. That should be interesting.
Yeah,
I'm glad to see him do shit with other stuff than Family Guy, honestly.
Well, yeah, and plus the Orville is the shit. So I missed this one here from H. Bart's. Tucker hates women in the military.
You could have just cut that off at like the third word, and you would have been just fine. You can just make that the sentence.
Tucker hates women. Yeah.
Yep.
Probably.
Yeah.
Hold on. Who? Oh, probably Comedy Central or Adult Swim. Well, Comedy Central is owned by Paramount or Viacom, so he won't go there because he's got to deal with NBC. And Adult Swim is owned by Turner, which is HBO Max, Warner Media. So it won't go there either. But again, probably NBC Universal is probably where it's going to be. So let me just quickly clip out this section right here. And go back a ways. There's a lot to talk about. A lot
We
of
talked
stuff
about
going.
so much tonight.
So I said, dude, so much, and in under 2 hours, by the way.
Yeah, we've done pretty well about getting through these topics swiftly.
Yeah. It's like I'm like, all right, man, cool. I was like, I'm gonna take the night off, but no,
Yeah.
I can't do it. I
Hey, it's been a
gotta
good show.
talk about all these things. And then I just was like, damn, there's so much going on. Usually I pick 3, and then tonight was like, yeah, you know what? The weekend clearly doesn't want me to get any actual sleep. So that is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But all right, so let me play a voicemail. I want to test it. I want to test the voicemail thing here.
All right.
So you should be able to hear it, but I just need to bring up the thumbnail and then take what I hate about StreamYard is that I'm not able to bring up when I want to bring up a screen. I'm not able to keep it in the back, right?
Oh yeah, I get what you mean.
Before going live, right? And so let me see. Okay, we should be all right. Well, we'll okay. There we go. So okay, it's up. Let's see if you guys. I want to see this one. I don't know. This one ought to be kind of weird. Let me see if you guys can hear this.
Oh boy.
It's time, Matthew.
Did you hear that?
I heard that. I just heard your name.
Yeah.
That's all.
Hold on.
It's time, Matthew.
Sounds
what?
like I don't know. I don't know who that is.
Wait a minute. Is that? I saw someone was shooting a message your way earlier.
It sounds like it might be. That sounded like Mikey Sutton, to be honest with you.
Mikey. Sutton?
Real Elmo Cinema here says, Matt, you have to stream longer. No.
Are you sure that wasn't Anthony? I think that might have been Anthony.
No, Anthony is called in. I don't know. Let's see here. Okay, we can play Anthony's here. This should work as short.
Hey, Matt Jarbo, it's Anthony. How you doing, buddy? I'm doing good and everything. You know,
Apparently they can't hear it.
I just want to ask you a quick question. When can we see the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer? And will it be with Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire? I know I've been waiting patiently for that. Anyways, my algorithm on my Facebook is down right now. So I don't know when I'm going to get that back. One love, Matt, and hopefully I'm on there. One love, and we'll talk later.
All right, so you guys can hear that one. I think the other one was just so low
Yeah.
that no one could hear it. It was super, super, super low. And so yeah, it was that creepy. Like, it's time, Matthew. Like, for what? To like wipe my ass or give me a hand job? Come on, man. Let's figure this thing out. It's almost midnight, folks. I'm down to get kinky. Anyway, Anthony, I don't know when we're gonna see anything about Spider-Man No Way Home.
They've been holding it close to their chest.
They really
close.
have been. Yeah, they've been wanting to make sure that a lot of people that they're building the hype up for it. So I'm hoping that we get something soonish, but I don't think we really are for the moment. They're just Sony's gonna maybe I'd say CinemaCon, but that's
I thought we were getting it today, man, because it was hashtag Spider-Man Day.
I know.
Yeah.
I saw that too. There are people out there. Like, was it Daniel RPK was saying that we were going to get it? We did not get it. And motherfucker. Oh, jeez.
It's coming out this year, right? Like, we're kind of due for a trailer at this point.
Yeah. Well, no, we're definitely due for a trailer. That is 100% certain. I think the biggest issue here is that, I think they're going to want to hold it for Venom, because that comes out in September, I think. So, and that's Sony, right? So the Sony of any other product that's coming out.
They're gonna keep us waiting maybe another fucking 2 months? That's insane, dude. There's not going to be I feel like at this point it's kind of like detrimental to the hype. Like, don't you want to at least drop a little something earlier on, like midway through the year?
You'd like to think so, but at this point, I don't know. I mean, they haven't done it, and they clearly have good reasons for it here.
Yeah.
Real quick here, command unit with another 15 shekels. Thank you, sir. It says the day Tucker gets canceled is the day the shit hits the fan. Yeah. That's the day.
God.
That's the day we get another insurrection. I swear to God.
And you know what's going to happen after that happens? He's going to run for president. He's going to announce he's running for president. I called it right here. No, I guarantee you he will run for president at some point.
Probably. It's going to be hell of a thing. Daniel Scott here with another $10, man. Thank you, sir. Says, do people like Nerdrotic have no self-awareness? Do they not realize how it looks for a 50-year-old men to complain about not being able to see Tila's cartoon cleavage? The thing is, you have to realize they have 100% self-awareness. That's the thing. You cannot underestimate these people. You can't. They are emphatically villains, and they know that they're villains. And the people at the top, they're smart about it because they know how to play a villain while still also kind of being able to like circle the wagons if they ever really get called out.
That's why they all have supervillain names. That's why.
Yeah, I know Nerdrotic just sounds like the kind of guy who couldn't get laid in high school.
Nerdrotic.
But then again, Mundane Matt. Let's be fair. All right, like that ain't any better. So I can't fault them on the name Nerdrotic, but still, Doomcock. You know, I live in a basement in my mother's house, and I pretend it's the center of the earth, and everything. But yeah, anyway, these guys, look, they have absolute self-awareness. Jeremy Geeks and Gamers has absolute self-awareness. If you've ever listened to him, he's got self-awareness. He just doesn't care. That's the difference, is that they don't actually believe any of the things that they're saying. I think Nerdrotic does now because that's all he talks about, but he also knows that's what makes money. He'll do his show. Like, you know, we had, I think, most night, like 70 people watching, which, hey, thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
But they'll do a show on Friday night and they get like up to 6,000 people watching. And all they do is bitch and moan and circle jerk like a bunch of fucking hens in a hen house. That's it. And like 6,000 people tune in to listen to people just get mad about really inconsequential things. And if that's not radicalizing some people, then I don't know what is.
Oh, it is. It definitely 100% is. Like, undeniably so. You can see the verifiable proof that it changes people's mindsets for the worse when they hear all that nonstop.
Jeremy will beat you up easily in a fight. Jeremy won't even fucking talk to me. Jeremy says I'll talk to anybody. Right? But he won't actually talk to me. So none of that fucking matters, dude.
Sus.
Yeah, sus. H Bryce here, $2, man. Thanks. Says, do Enosh length stream. Raya here says, I'm glad I'm not the only one who likes long streams. Hey, I pretty much stream like every night. I mean, I got to be up at 7 a.m. with my kids. So, like, I got to get some sleep at some point in time. So I can't do those 4-hour, 5-hour streams. But Enosh should be back. I don't know where he is at this point. We don't really know, but we'll do a couple more here. All right, we got one here.
Hey Matt, I just really want to hear some more about like the new Batman movie because Robert Pattinson gives me chills every time I watch the trailer. Okay, bye.
I get chills listening to that score for the new Batman movie, which I would bring up and play, but Warner Brothers will take the video down. I think with the, look, we're going to start learning more about the new Batman the new Batman movie before, probably not much until DC Fandom. And that's only like 2.5 months away. Fandom coming back.
I hate that name.
Yeah, me too. I'm not a big fan of it, but also with that, a lot of it, you're going to get a new trailer. You're going to get a lot more info. Right now, all of the PR is focusing on the Flash because they're filming that. And I mean, Warner's has been very adamant about leaking a lot of stuff. I would assume that potentially things might be coming out from Black Adam. Obviously, they want to build those things up because the Batman trailer broke records when it dropped during Fandom last year. So they know that there's hype for that movie and they're not really worried about it so much. But we're not going to probably learn more until the close thing here. Cheaper the 14 says, thanks for giving me the inspiration to start YouTube. Well, you're welcome, man. Thank you.
Nice. Yeah.
Let's see here. Troy James here says, I got here late. What did Jungle Cruise make? 34 million and another 30 million on Disney Plus. So, Elmo here's like, I love long streams. I know you do, buddy. I know you do. All right. And then we got, let's see. I can read the transcripts, you guys. When you call in, I can get a transcript of it. So, I know what people can say so I can not catch me off guard.
Matt, Go fix your toilet plunger. Okay? Cool.
What? Why?
So a while back, I was streaming with Mad Max, and I had to go to the bathroom, like one of those like instant like moments.
Oh yeah,
right?
shit, or you miss it. Yeah. I
Yeah,
know.
you're like, oh no, I'm live. What are you doing, buddy? And then I race out there, and I'm like, I'll be back in like 5 minutes, and I rush, and I use the toilet, and I'm like, because you know how it is, you're in a rush, you're kind of, for like you're just like freak, like very
Yeah, you got the shits.
Yeah, you're just trying to like wipe it up, get it cleaned. I don't have a bidet because I'm not fancy.
Oh.
And then I had a plunger, and I broke the plunger because like it had already like it was a wooden one, and apparently it had like rotted at the base. I don't know how, but it did, and so I broke it off accidentally in the toilet. And I came back and I mentioned it, and then everyone had a laugh, and that's fine. Laugh at that all you want. That's great. Like, yeah, I the plunger. The plunger took the plunge.
Plunger. You took the plunge, Matt.
I didn't leave Max here for like 30 minutes. It was like 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Out of print here says TMI, not TMI. That's perfectly fine. I didn't go into like the texture, the viscosity, or the smell.
The viscosity.
Benson here with 5 pounds. To get us back on topic. As DC moves on from Snyder, do you think all future movies will have post-credit scenes like Suicide Squad does? Also, I think Gunn will return to the DC. Well, the post-credit scene in the Suicide Squad, I don't want to say what it is, but it definitely has implications for the future. And if you paid attention at all with James Gunn, you kind of know what that future is. And I think that as long, because that is kind of what Warner's wants to do. They want to establish IPs for theaters and then branch off into other shows for HBO Max. So yeah, I really feel like it's possible that's going to happen. And I do think Gunn will probably return. I just feel like Gunn, with the creative freedom he got here, is something he's not going to get at Marvel, because at this point they're going to be watching him, like watching what he says, watching what he does, and preparing for any kind of backlash.
Yeah, and while on the other side, DC specifically picked him up in the wake of that controversy, so he knows that they're not going to fuck him over, because they basically picked him up knowing the type of person that he could get himself into. I mean, the type of stuff he could get himself into, I suppose.
Yeah, he got himself into a fair amount of shit there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really did. But he got it all taken care of now. We're all good. Thank you very much for that one. Let's see. Ray here says Matt has the best memes: the plunger, Jet Marbo, Boss Baby, etc. Boss Baby. Yeah. Even today, my daughter's like, "What do you want to watch?" She's like, "Boss Baby." I'm like, "Damn straight."
Keeping the meme alive.
Keeping the meme alive. The kids don't even know. But, all right, and so let's get to the final voicemail of the night. Let's see.
Hey, Matt, it's Eddie Evolution. How you been, man? Just wanted to call because I had just got through watching the 5th episode of Monsters at Work. It's a really great show and a great follow-up to Monsters, Inc. Yet nobody's talking about it, No one's talking about the show. Why is that? I mean, 5 episodes in and the show is already great. I don't know if you've seen it, but if you haven't, I'd say get on it. Yeah, man. I just want to know what's up with the show and why isn't anyone talking about it? I'd love to know your thoughts, and I look forward to hearing it. All right, man. Peace.
Thank you very much for that, Eddie. I have seen all 5 episodes of Monsters at Work. I've rewatched. I've watched them a bunch of times. I think they're great. I need to review them. I just, it's one of those things where it's like, I might just review the season. But it's, have you heard of the show, Annie? Do you know what? Monsters?
Yeah, I've heard the show. I'm familiar with the show, and I can also tell you the exact fucking reason why no one's talking about it is because Disney has put no advertising into that series at all. I've barely heard about it outside of people in, movie YouTube who've been talking about it and saying good things. Predominantly, I've heard good things about that show, but like, I'm seeing no advertising for it at all. It's really peculiar out of a Disney property, especially like a Pixar spinoff. You'd expect they'd put more fucking attention on it, but they aren't putting any at all, it seems like.
It's very weird on that one. Yeah, because I knew that it came out and they dropped the first 2 episodes, and I rewatched those a couple times with my kids because I really do love the Monsters Inc. world. And I know I've mentioned it here on the show. I've mentioned it, maybe not in great detail, but I know I've mentioned that I've been watching it. And but it's a lot of people maybe are turned off that it's not about Mike and Sully, even though they're in every episode basically. And
That's
like
fine.
they are like, they're not the main character. They are intrinsic to the plot, and they are very much involved in everything. And it takes place right after the events of Monsters Inc., like literally like the next day.
Yeah, I heard that.
And it's really good. It's really funny. Mindy Kaling is great in it. The main guy is really, I forget his name right now, but he's really funny because it's the guy from Superstore, like Jonah from Superstore, Ben something or another. And the show, like, it's just building out the characters right now, and it's building out them trying to, make it all work. And Jennifer Tilly's in it. I mean, all the main voice actors are back, and so it's fun, but it's also not groundbreaking, I think. And that may be something, because like Loki and Bad Batch, maybe those are kind of groundbreaking and people really like those. And this one is just not necessarily like that. So, but it's good. And I think people are going to find it down the road. I think people are going to binge the hell out of it after the end of the season. But Disney should definitely be doing more to market the monster stuff. But at the same time, we don't know their internal metrics. Maybe because it is very much aimed at kids, Pixar doesn't really seem to have the oomph that it had a decade ago. And I don't mean that to criticize Pixar. I think Soul was amazing. I loved Luca, Onward. They make great movies. But I think like the cultural zeitgeist that was the Pixar films in like the early 2000s to like maybe Brave and Cars 2 really in 2011 and Brave in 2012. Kind of, that was kind of like their golden years. And that was one movie a year.
Yeah. And you know what, though? I do think they're starting to get their mojo back. I think Pixar is starting to get their mojo back, like what people originally liked about them. I think that their films are starting to consistently become more quality again, because I do believe the last three were very, very good. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they'll ever have that reputation in like the mainstream's eyes of being like the one company that consistently puts out a good film every time. I thought Cars was terrible. We can have a discussion about that another time. But yeah, I think they're finally starting to get back to having that consistent quality that people came for. And you know what, though? In all fairness, I don't think Pixar was ever really that bad. It's just they were getting too mediocre for what their brand was, if that makes sense.
Well, I think they were getting too much spread around, and that was by Disney. That was by Disney wanted, because I mean, like Lasseter came up with the idea for Cars, and yeah, sure, Doc Hollywood rip off 100%, but it resonated with kids and it had over $1 billion in merch sales. So clearly that was going to end up being a big property. They have Cars World at Disneyland. They've got Cars 2, which is an abomination of a movie, but Cars 3 is surprisingly deep and good. And then they've done the plane spinoffs, and those are bad. But the thing is, like, they're still like, my kids love Cars. We've watched Cars a bunch, and I will go back to it. And despite its very, 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 like close to true ripoff of Doc Hollywood as it can be, it's still an endearing movie based upon the performances. Like, I love Owen Wilson. So I'm totally down with Owen Wilson in that movie. Paul Newman, Tony Shalhoub, Larry the Cable Guy, great. Bonnie Hunt, Jeremy Piven, John Ratzenberger, Michael Keaton.
They've got some great talent in those films. They never resonated with me. None of them. Like, not even the third one.
Well, I like the third one because it's about, it kind of puts him in Doc Hudson's place. Like the first one's about the beginning of his career, really, and the last one is about the last ending of his career. And then moving past it and moving into the next phase. And I think that's great. I think it's like understanding what makes you happy and kind of going for it. You can skip Cars 2. Just watch 1 and 3 back to back.
It's just the Mater movie. That's all it is. It's not worth your time.
No, it's a spy who knew too little, but with Mater, because Mater sold a lot of merch and stuff. And then they did all those Cars tunes, They did like all those little short films.
Yeah, you're right.
Those were kind of pretty bad. But anyway, to kind of wind us down here, HBarts with $5, man, says Gunn would make Guardians rated R if given the choice. I'm sure he would.
Yeah, I'm sure he would. Obviously, he made the Suicide Squad rated R. He'd probably do the same with Guardians if given the creative decision. So.
Oh yeah, I think it would be absolutely okay. Let's see. Raya here says, I feel like Disney dropped the ball on making Monsters Inc. more of an attraction. Pixar is getting The Shaft on their priority list. Making all those films available on VOD free is proof. I get you, and I feel for the people. I feel for the animators who feel like their work isn't being seen. But the theaters just, they're not pulling. What Disney made a very creative choice, and I would love to see Luca on the big screen. I just think it's so wonderfully vibrant in the colors. Soul, I mean, just like the depth that the detail they put into New York City and the story, especially that score from Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross is amazing. I think it won Best Score too at the Oscars last year, and I know it won Best Animated Feature. And it's like, there's things there worth seeing on the big screen, but these companies are also trying to figure out how to manage where we are because we're in uncharted territory. And they are going to make mistakes, and we've seen that a lot. So
made quite a lot, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. H Bart's here. It says Fluffy as Gary gets legendary. I don't know what that is.
Well, I don't understand a single thing being said here. I'm sorry.
Fluffy as Gary gets legendary?
Are you talking about Nerdrotic or something? I don't know what's going on.
Are you talking about Gabriel Iglesias?
Gabriel Iglesias?
Fluffy.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I don't know, man.
I don't know what's going on here, yeah.
Yeah, you can always DM me that and let me know everything else. Adaprint here says, hey, Matt, did you know the original Flintstones have been released on Blu-ray? It's a really good watch. I didn't know that, but I did get the original Jetsons series on Blu-ray for Christmas. So I gotta give that a watch. The Jetsons are great, dude. I fucking love Jetsons. But on that note, guys, I got to get to the store before 1 when they close. So I got a jet. I totally forgot. I need caffeine for the morning or else I'm not going to be a happy person. But Annie, where can people find you at?
Oh, go check out youtube.com/Underhaven. I'm going to start doing more often streams, just talking about the news and all that type of stuff. So if you like stuff beyond just pop culture, go check out my channel. You might like it.
Yeah, they were on tonight. Did a good job. Lots of swearing.
Yeah, I say
very
shit
not safe for work. Kind of. I mean, I say fucking shit on this fucking thing all the goddamn fucking time.
Oh yeah, you do. You just
know. So I just did. I make how many times I've made cum jokes? Lots of times I made cum jokes. So it's all good. And I appreciate everyone coming on in. Oh, Gary Getz was Blue Mike from Monsters. Oh, okay, that's right. That's from the last episode. Sorry, buddy. I didn't know. But yeah, that was pretty funny. All right, everyone. Yes, night Jarbo Whites. You know what? That sounds a little culty.
Yeah, that's too culty.
It's a little culty on that one. Also sounds like the Deadites from the Evil Dead, which is kind of cool. But we'll figure something out of print. But I appreciate the work. Be sure to toss a like if you guys haven't already, and I'll see you all. I might take tomorrow off depending on everything. I probably need a break, but at the same time, you guys are the best late night crew.